Hi guys, today we are going to have a look at the Boreal 43. Some of you guys have requested the 47. There isn't one at the show this year, but maybe when we are at Boot Dusseldorf in January, there might be one available. Before we go all the way around the boat, I will explain two main differences between the 47 and the 43. So give me a second. As you can see with the 43, you'll see more as we get on it, you actually have a single wheel as if it's a central cockpit, it might as well be. And the difference between that and the 47, it's in theory, the interior, everything else is exactly the same on this boat as it is on the 47, except for you have an extra 5 foot aft to be able to give you two wheels, larger bathing platform, more storage area, maybe a workshop if that's what you've ticked on the options. So that's sort of like the main differences. If you're unfamiliar with Boreal, they're aluminium. There's a lot of boats that we're going to be showing in this show this year. Aluminium seems to be a popular thing at the moment, and I like, as you know, from the work we've done with Allure and Garcia, I like aluminium. The Boreal, as you'll notice, actually have hard chimes for stability, and obviously the only downside to that is obviously you lose room inside, not much, but you lose room inside for stability. Twin rudder, and as you can see you have a very large bathing platform with swimming ladder, and obviously this will go up. Flexi teak on this particular boat. I should imagine you can have real teak or resin infused cork, non-slip depending on what option you have. Life raft is underneath, and obviously the main seat will come off. You know me, I'd rather have the life raft on a cradle, and you have access to storage back here. We'll see if we can actually open it and give you guys a look. So gas locker storage, and this will be the start. Obviously it's a watertight, say that loosely, watertight hatch. So you have one watertight bulkhead here, and then you have a secondary watertight bulkhead just through there. Cool. With most, I'll step off quickly, with most aluminium boats have your dinghy davits or arch already pre-molded and fixed onto the boat, which is great. Somewhere for your solar panels, and obviously for putting your dinghy. Getting onto this boat is really easy. Here's your non-slip surface I was talking about. I'm going to start forward today because there are people in the cockpit. So we'll start at the bow, work our way back. Ends just over there from Odd Life, waving at you. Right, fully integrated double barrel roller, which is a bonus. Obviously you can pick up a mooring ball, not having to worry about your anchor, stowage for your anchor. The anchor chain on these is set up like the Garcia, so we're going to have a look at that for a second. You have a great big mooring cleat here. As you can see forward on the bowsprit, you have somewhere for a code D or spinnaker attachment point, genoa, and a jib here. So standard furlers, which is great, you're not having to worry about anything electric, but if you tick the option box you can have hydraulic and electric if you wish. And there's also attachment point here for a staysail. The non-slip deck on this boat is fantastic. Give me a second and I will show you the forward locker.
YouTube, eh?
Oh yeah?
You make YouTube
Yeah.
video, eh?
Yeah,
I like this. Ciao.
How you doing?
I'm
Nice to
from
meet you.
Switzerland. Peter.
Okay.
Good, huh? Bye.
So, forward, there's your first bracing for the bow of your boat. This is obviously where your windlass is. For your jib, you can call it a chain plate or whatever you want. It's your reinforcement plate. These are all 12mm plate, very, very strong. And starboard, obviously you have somewhere for spare lines and fenders, and the same over here on the port side. Somewhere in here there is a saltwater wash for your anchor chain, and here just behind me, if you can see that, is another watertight crash bulkhead. Behind me from bow looking aft, you can see we have two opening hatches here. They're not flush hatches. Something I think Boreal do really well is you have these protective caps just in front of the hatches, so obviously if you have waves or water coming over the edge, it spills off the hatches, doesn't put pressure on the seals, so you're not having to worry about water coming into your boat. It's a very, very good idea. Some people might say it's trip hazard, but nobody wants water inside their boat. It's as simple as that. And these boats are meant for going to, well, anywhere. Like Garcia, they will take you anywhere around the world, through the poles, Northwest Passage, down past Cape Horn. Here's your windlass, and obviously all your chain, so keeping all your weight central, is right by the mast. Electric feet controls, absolutely brilliant. Boreal have a good reputation, you don't need to hear me gushing about it. Two more hatches, both port and starboard. Granny bars, which is absolutely brilliant for security by the mast. This one's been fitted out with a carbon spinnaker pole for your main halyards and reefing. Obviously you can have all this put aft if you want to the cockpit, but your main winches are actually here on the mast. Stronger, I don't know if it's an option I would choose, but it does keep the systems simple, stops things from breaking. You're not having to worry about, you know, passing lines through decks. This one is actually set up, you'll see as we go aft. I don't know if the camera's picking this up. You actually have a German mainsail system, so at least your main sheet and so on goes back to the cabin. There are no adjustable backstays on this boat, which is a little unusual, something you could probably add if needed. You have both inboard, outboard shrouds and your main Genoa track, and it's a lovely long Genoa track, runs pretty much to the end of the coach roof. There is plenty of grab holds, hand holds around on this boat. Both port and starboard you have access onto pontoons or marina sides. The grab holds are substantial, obviously aluminium, as it's an aluminium boat. There's great protection over gerards, also work as hand holds, and on your cabin top you have two opening hatches, and you'll notice that they are alternative opening to allow that draft to come through the cabin. Solar panels up on your coach roof and pilot station, once again with another opening hatch. Saloon mast and boom, twin spreader mast. Should have given you a proper look earlier. The twin spreader mast, Saloon boom. This boat's actually, you can see there's a lot going on deck and down the sides, but it is actually really easy to get around on. So I wouldn't be worried about tripping over something or falling. There's a really nice grab handle both sides on the hard top, and obviously you can have a bimini coming underneath, and we also have a granny's bonnet here. Coming back into your hardware, you have a Lumar 50 electric self-tailing winch, and your primary winch is a Lumar 55 electric self-tailing winch. Fixed backstays. We'll get into the lazarettes in a second. Starboard side, large storage lazarette on the starboard side. Here is another one, another bulkhead, and obviously you can see straight out to the hull. Plenty of space and access to steering, autopilot and so on. Very solid boat. Port side pretty much mirrors what's on the starboard, but obviously you don't have the walk through here, so you gain plenty of space. These guys are set up for going around the world, so they've got their electric generator there, fin for plonking down into the water. Obviously plenty of storage space. It's quite nice. Easily get to your electric motor for the winch, and obviously once again easy access to steering quadrant and other bits and pieces. There is room for a dive compressor, dive bottles, paddle boards, whatever toys you want to put in here. There's plenty of space. It's a watertight compartment, so you're not having to worry about that. Okay, so this has a central pedestal. Basically you could almost say it's a centre cockpit. Something that's quite nice either side. I don't know if you'll catch that on the camera, but it's actually mounted centrally. So if you imagine you're on the helm, either way you have a brace point, port or starboard tack, doesn't matter. Brace point for on your heel, and directly central you have your emergency steering access, which is excellent. I'm going to stand on the seat here, a very large wheel, which means obviously you can control the wheel from either side, and a really nice technical space on the helm. Grab handles either side, big plus for me. Chart plotter. Let me know in the comments below who you prefer. I know ML use these guys, and obviously big commercial ships tend to work with them, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Your bow thruster, controls and autopilot. Just over on the side you have your throttle controls, which is actually a really good spot. I'll give you my view from the helm. You can see the bow, you can see the sides, obviously you can see the stern right behind me because it's just there, and if you need to sit down through the pilot house you have a really good view, and it's this pilot house that sort of sets Boreal apart from the others. Very nice big table for 4 very comfortably, 6 easily. central console table with grab holds, compass in the middle, which is where I like it, and somewhere for, you know, drinks or other bits and pieces. Beautiful bench seats, both port and starboard. And then coming forward, which is obviously with both Garcia and a lot of aluminium boats, when you're underway you have a really clever hard top that comes over and protects you. And if you imagine your spray hood going all the way back to the bimini, so you're going to stay nice and warm and dry. Speaking with the sales guy, talking about the benches, so originally this was actually a prototype on the seats, and myself and somebody else remarked that it's actually quite low for the back. What they've actually done is raised it up quite a lot more, between 5 and 10 centimetres, to give you much better lumbar support. So they take note in customer remarks and they change everything, which is brilliant. Self-draining cockpit. There is a drop down before you get into your interior nav and central area. So pilot house in theory, from where you can do your watches and command the boat. So you have a step in. I want to get this all on camera because this is one of the things I love about Boreal. You have a full seating area. So before we sit down and take, oh, actually I'll sit down. Here's your engine stop for your Yamaha. It's all there. Ventilation to go out, so you can close this space off if it's really cold or the weather's terrible. There is a door that goes in this space, so you can close it off. You have an opening hatch aft. There is one above my head, and then just here I have my VHF autopilot nav light. Have my main navigation lights, autopilot switches, everything you actually need for night watch and so on. Transponder, nice computer screen, so you can have your navionics on here if you wish. You can use it as somewhere to work, do what you want. Obviously these guys have got it set up. Underneath the bunk, which can be a workbench if you wish, you have storage for tools, spare parts. It's a fabulous workshop come cabin area. Nice large drawers. You don't see this very often on boats, and I love these latches. They're double down locking latches, milled out of stainless steel. Underneath the bunk, which can be a workbench if you wish, you have storage for tools, spare parts. It's a fabulous workshop come cabin area. Nice large drawers. You don't see this very often on boats, and I love these latches. They're double down locking latches, milled out of stainless steel. Very, very good. They're not going to open accidentally in a seaway. Give you a quick look under one of the floor hatches. There you can see lower hull, one of the chimes. And then just over here on my right, Victron charger controls just here, very easy to get hold of. There we go. There's some lighting for us, that'll make it a bit easier. And over in this locker, there you go. So you're not having to pull apart cabinets or anything like that. Everything's very easy to get to. One of their ethoses is that if you're at sea, you're exploring the world and you're weeks or a month away from land or services, You need to be able to deal with everything yourself. Right, before we do the heads that are next to me, I'll give you a pano of this raised saloon. I'm a big fan of raised saloon areas, and then just to starboard you have a nice U-shaped galley. Right by the companionway and that aft cabin is your wet room. So you have a fresh water electric flush toilet with thermostatic taps for a shower head. So this is a wet heads. There is railing here for hanging wet jackets and so on if you need to, and a nice sink down here. An opening hatch up above, and to give you an idea of headroom in here, I'm 5'8", 5'9", you know, if you're 6'5" going on 7 foot, you'd still have plenty of room to get clean. I'm going to spin you around quickly. Coming over to the port side, you have a port side twin. Once again, radiator, so the boat's fully central heated. I love, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say this is Scandinavian pine. It might be maple, so let me know in the comments below what you think. Very light, airy cabin, USB chargers, reading lights. You have a very large shelf storage over there, access to services over there. It's a double. Once again, very basic storage here. There is a mains plug down in the corner. Port light with privacy blind. Some storage cupboards all the way over there, and an opening hatch ventilation that goes into the cockpit. And to my right there is a storage cupboard. Obviously these guys, it's obvious they're extended cruising because they have more spare parts than clothes and manuals. And just above there's an opening hatch. Alizia. I'm a big fan of raised saloons. Almanac. Absolutely brilliant. So there's your Victron Energy digital pad, so you can monitor what's going on with the batteries. USB charging, mains plug, obviously bookshelves or storage. There is storage behind the door here for bits and pieces, and all the way along behind the seats on this length here. Storage lower down. Let's see. Switches for your heater or air conditioning because obviously this has got radiators. And then your table, you can have it drop down or pull out. This one's actually been set up to be pulled out, and you can have an extra piece of timber across here and turn this into a huge day bed if you wish. Centrally there is access to your keel and tanks. Excuse me if moving you guys around a lot. And obviously you have access to bilge and tanks underneath here through your floor. It's a lifting keel, as a lot of aluminium boats are. There is storage just here. We'll do the galley in a second. 2 stainless steel fridges. Corian worktop, but it's been finished with some nice timber fiddles. You have a 3 gimbaled stove. Obviously if you added solar, more lithium, You could have a induction top if you wish. Large gas oven. Salt and fresh water, hot and cold. There's your salt pump. This is actually, I think, quite good. I think a lot of sinks, and you have a drainage thing on top, which is absolutely brilliant. Small cupboards behind the cooker and a shelf. There is no extraction hood on this one, but I should imagine it is an option if you ask for it. And obviously more food cupboards. One to this side. And a drop down over here and up top. Grab handle. I know I'm anal, but it's important. And obviously centrally you have a grab handle here. Just taking apart their boat for you guys. There is more storage underneath the seat. Obviously here as well. And then underneath here is the mechanism for your lifting bins. And access obviously down to your bilge. Something that's brilliant, you have a diesel heater, which is very, very cool, and access more storage down there. Okay, forward we have the owner's cabin. So you have a queen size semi-island bed. There's a step to get up on it. USB charging, we'll go through this quite quickly because it's getting busy again. 2 port lights and 2 opening hatches, and these are the ones that have those, I don't know if you can see it, those guards in front, aluminium to stop water and leakage basically. So there is good storage up here. You have storage down on the sides here. Once again, USB charging. There's another cupboard there. That is mirrored over here on the starboard side. There is, I can get this up one-handed, large amount of storage underneath the bed for all your bits and pieces. You can get a few dead bodies in there. To my left, you have the owner's ensuite, and just before we go in there, there's another radiator. So obviously it's your diesel central heater that powers all your central heating, so you don't have to use the electric if you don't want to. You have a separate electric fresh flush toilet and a separate shower. So your day heads can be a wet heads if you need it, or just storage for your wet gear. And for the owner, you have a nice shower with a seat in it. Give you an idea of height. It's a little bit lower in here. Still plenty of headroom. The door is closed. There's actually room. I'll close the door actually. Just don't want to block all your light. There's actually room for 2 in here and a nice seat. Turn around so you can see thermostatic temperature controlled shower. There's your shower head. Should imagine if you asked for it, you could have a a rain head put in there if you want. There is ventilation just up here and coming out, getting out the shower, dripping everywhere. Obviously access to tanks. Now, this boat has been on passage, you can smell it, and storage there as soon as you open that door. And then behind the door for the owner's cabin, you have a nice locker. These guys have put in a small washing machine. Obviously you can have it as a hanging locker if you wanted. This I'd actually have in the technical space. I think it makes a lot more sense. Don't want to lose those hanging lockers. But, you know, owner's choice. Right, as there's plenty of people on this boat, I'm going to stay in the owner's cabin. If you like this boat, hopefully sometime, maybe at Boot Dusseldorf, we'll get to see the 47 if they've got one there. If not, I'm going to ask today if we can actually go and visit the shipyard sometime. To do that, I need you guys to subscribe, like and comment on this video. You know how it goes, because without that, the YouTube algorithm doesn't push us and we can't generate the income we need to be able to go and do these visits. If you like this tour, if you want any more information, if I've left anything out, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.